All right, welcome back, folks, to the second of the two back-to-back games here on Gridiron Queensland's live streams here in Week 10, brought to you by Live Streaming Brisbane. The Bears defending home turf against the visiting Bayside Ravens. The Ravens trying to stay in touch with the top three, with the games progressing and finals looming around the corner. Coin toss about to take place between these two teams. You can see some of the captains out there now. With the Bears, one of which was Stephen Dunn, who I'd love to talk about, had an amazing intercept last week against the Stingrays. And as the coin toss is being finalised there, we'll take a quick look at the ladder as it stands, or it stood before this week, with a couple of games being played now. The Rhinos still undefeated. The Ravens are one of the few teams to push them along with the Stingrays. The Ravens sitting at second place, Stingrays right behind them with only the one loss there. Thunder in fourth, and after that forfeit last week, we'll be in a little bit of desperation come the last few games of the season. And the Bears are sitting outside and still with a chance to try to sneak into the top four with a couple games remaining before the end of the season. And I'm Kenny Andreas, and I'm with Liam Reeves, and I'll use this opportunity to bring him in now. Some of you were trying to point out to me there was the very low score in the column of defensive
100%. How are we going out there, listeners? So I think the big thing there I saw was with the Rhinos, the against, that 66 points lowest in the league. Their defense is looking very staunch. I think that's a key factor, as well as if you look at their 4 points, they are scoring the most points in the league. So it's that 2 for 1 there that's really propelling them to that number one spot.
Result of the coin toss there, Lips?
Yeah, so the Ravens are receiving. You'll see the Bears are right here getting pumped up right now. I'll let them get their thing up. I guess passion is, there's no shortage of passion there for the Bears.
Yeah, we're having an extensive chat there with head coach and former starting quarterback for the Bears, Carlos Williams, about their situation, and he was telling us that they're doing the best that they can with what they've got. One of the teams that's probably hit very hard with the injury bug at this point of the season, losing not only a high number amount of players, but some pretty key players now, himself included, along with Christian Arnold, their starting running back as well. Also gone Alexander Green on the offensive line, and a bunch of unavailabilities for other reasons as well on the defensive side of the ball. On the flip side, though, the Ravens, after dropping back-to-back games back in round 4 and round 5 to the Rhinos and Gold Coast, have since gone on a 3-game winning streak, and pretty expansive wins too, 49-0, 42-0, and 37-6 against the Griffithini Thunder back in round 7. They are currently coming off a 49-0 victory over the Raptors last week, but did not come without its own casualties. Andrew Big Kid Davis sitting out this week for a bit of naughty behaviour last week.
Yes, some things that were, I guess, was a bit chippy on that Raptors game there, but he'll be keen to. I know he's kicking himself for missing this game here.
Week 10 men's division. Let's go. Warwick Russell with a kick return now. Evading defender, still going patiently, tight roping that left sideline. The Ravens will take over a couple yards short of the 40, and Jared Stegman, along with Mitchell Bessie, Warwick Russell, and Darius Holiday Miller, the head coach in 2019, back at running back. Only took him 6 weeks.
It took him 6 weeks. He can't help himself. He loves the game. He loves the team. Big thing for Jared Stegman to come to the Ravens is he believes they have a real shot at winning the championship. He wants to help them do that. It's something he hasn't accomplished 12 years since he started playing in GQ. So he actually started. He was the 2012 MVP.
He was the
first Bears.
Yeah, first person not named Kyle Lowe to win it in about 6 years at that time. Shout out to Kyle Lowe if you happen to be watching. The Ravens and this explosive offense on the field now. Bessie moves into the slot in motion to give his Holiday Miller, though. Plenty of space underneath, breaks the tackle. The man wearing number 3 is pushing downfield right now, looking for blocks from Russell. Will cut it back at the 30, still cutting back at the 20. And after breaking 3 tackles, the man with number 3 on his jersey, Holiday Miller, will take it in for a score on the first touch of the game.
I'll tell you from first-hand experience, as a head coach and as a running back coach, his view of the field and his knowledge in the backfield there, his ball-carrying vision is what gets him these opportunities, right? He extends plays, he knows how to set people up and make them miss, and you can see it there by that long touchdown run.
Well, for anyone at the start of the season who thought Darius Holiday Miller was hanging it up for this season because he didn't have it anymore, well, That might suggest otherwise. Bessie, good hold. Russell adds the extras. And they convert 7-0 following a 60-yard Darius Holiday-Miller touchdown. Oh, actually, no, check that. 70 yards. We're on a full field this week.
Oh, yeah. The full 120.
Ball starting just beyond the 30. Yeah, most fields in Gridiron, Queensland, 90 yards the playing field, that is, not including the 10-yard end zones because of the rugby league nature of a lot of these fields. But here in Logan City, which is a Gridiron field first at Hyde Park, the posts are at the back of the end zones, allowing for a full 100 yards.
I will say as well, just speaking with Carlos Williams before, this field is probably one of the best well lit in the league. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. There's certainly a lot that would be at the envy of the lighting of Hyde Park. And I did lead into this last week with the Bears against Gold Coast, but it's a return to the Gridiron front for the men's Bears team. We're out of the league since, well, they're back in the league for the first time since 2016. And the man who was synonymous with that for a long time was Pete Ferrara, and I want to acknowledge him quickly during this kickoff, officially retiring today from presidency, the final step.
Yeah.
Football participation when you move to that presidency role. And it looks like he's going to finally enjoy the non-participant life of football. Big shout out to Pete. The post from the Logan City Bears was a good one there. Describe him as a bit of a colourful guy, and maybe not everyone agreed with him at different times, but you can't deny the effect he's had in this league over the past 20 years.
I've had the privilege of actually being coached by Pete Ferrara in one of my earlier
2012?
Yeah, 2012 down in Warringah. We'll have that big 59 at QB here, the Shane Prosser, the import, I guess. Not so an import, he's been here now 2 years, coming out of the Bristol Aztecs, the Colts team back over there in England, in the UK.
Out of that, yeah, the Bristol Academy, sending people all the way here. No secret now who is a quarterback. Prosser is the man for the time being. Now he'll give it there to the 11 in Posey.
Troy Posey, for those of you who don't know, is a New Mexico State Div 1 athlete. Yep.
And highly athletic and explosive. Had a great game 2 weeks ago here against the Raptors, but last week did struggle to find exciting space, shall we say, against the flowing defense that was the Gold Coast Stingrays. Hoping for a bit more space this time around, try and get something downfield. The usual wide receiver, though, had to move to running back out of necessity here for the Logan City Bears. Prosser, a quarterback. The man in question, Posey, to his right. Looking downfield, trying to complete to Tinoco, his favourite target from a week ago. Incomplete, too high. Coverage on the field on the play there was just else.
The coverage there, I believe, was Damien Bruderach, you'll see. I gotcha. I was just talking to Kenny before. Now, Damien's not even 5 years playing. His IQ and his vision on the field is improving each year. So, look, not surprised to see him get in there and break that play up.
25. Just wearing the Tristan Ellis jersey. I think Tristan Ellis might have actually moved to a 48. Got him at both. Against the Ravens, they'll be moved back 5 yards.
So, a little fun fact for you, Shane Prosser, the QB for the Bears at the moment, started playing this game because he enjoyed Madden, enjoyed the strategy aspect. Big Steelers fan. Enjoyed the 1-2 punch of Jerome Bettis and Willie Parker. Little did you know with Liam Reeves.
Willie Parker, hard count there, and Prosser won't get the free play, but he will get the extra 5 yards. That's 10 yards of penalties in the last 2 plays now. Lose any yardage, so I thought, I figure this should be an automatic first, but I thought this would be an automatic first, but that second down's looking awfully short.
Defensive line is a hungry one. I'm speaking from experience. Anchored there by Jason Leon, the vet. Bit too itchy there.
The longest serving Raven on this, and the most capped Raven on this Ravens defense. And there will be 2nd and 1. 4 down linemen for the Ravens. Oh nope, they've moved the chains now. 1st down, yes, my maths is correct. 2 5-yard penalties on a 1st and 10. Generally leads to a moving of the chains. On 1st down now. Prosser, hands off to Posey. Posey dancing through and fumbles the ball into the arms of Chris Clark, who if he gets away, he could take it for 6. Breaking tackles will eventually be taken down by Tinoco before he can do too much damage, but a change of possession early in the game here.
It was a great run by Troy Posey there, but you just couldn't really see as the view was obstructed, but he kind of got hit and the ball's popped up right in the hands of Chris Clark.
You can only assume that's either someone's swinging the arm in and getting that punch, or a shoulder just right in the perfect spot underneath the ball.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't dare say helmet.
I'll somehow get fined for that. So it'll be 1st and 10 Ravens, just outside of the red zone. Ball approximately on the Bears' 23. I'm just seeing the Bears offensive line just gather in front of us, and geez, don't they have some meat on that line. Stegman in the jersey number 10. The Holiday Miller, they've only had one play, and they will have to wait a few moments before they get the second one there. This play being called dead. Flag on the field on the far sideline.
Speaking of the number 10, he said his goals for the game is to just win and represent that number 10. I've got it here in writing.
I take your word for it, my friend. Good research.
Told you I had Stegman content.
And a false start there, so a bit of an undisciplined start for the Ravens. Their defense giving up 10 yards, and now their offense contributing a false start to the penalty column. Stegman, I've talked about it every time we've done a Ravens broadcast. His own vlog just released his most recent episode of it today, I believe.
OzQB, yes, it was uploaded this morning.
OZQB. And Bessie in motion will come tighter to the line. Play action pass. Quick look. Now he dances past a would-be blitzer, and he'll take it himself, Stegman, but he's tackled nicely. Almost at the line of scrimmage. Might have picked up a yard. With one Bears play down.
78. I think I just hurt his hand there.
That's former Raven James Ashford. One of the studs of this defensive front.
It's a great tackle.
And he is trying to put on a brave face right now, but it is obvious that he is in pain. Now grabbing it. Well, looks like one of his ribs.
Yeah, stand corrected. Hope the big man recovers soon.
He's wearing the dreads now when he first came to the league back in 2009. And a big, big fro of hair. 7-0. Ravens leading the Bears midway through the first. Stegman, clean snap. He's got Holiday Miller in the flat who he hits. And it's actually, Nigel Fawcett trying to bust out of the tackle of Tinoco. Athlete on athlete there.
You see Nigel Fawcett out here running the out. Just beating his defender there to the point of the ball. Managed to get up to getting maybe a gain of 6 or 7 there. And Nigel also usually plays in the backfield. You've probably seen a few of the other games this year with the Ravens, either playing running back or fullback. He's getting the opportunity here to play in the slot, which he did play last year for the Ravens also, and previously with the Thunder.
That's where he came over, started as a wide receiver. Big sporting background, baseball in there, and also played the Army team back in the States. Stegman's got some time, but we'll dump it off to Holiday Miller on the design swing. And it's a good tackle there, again by Tinoco, who's been very busy on defense so far, but that should be enough to move the chains.
Just see here, there's Holiday Miller there, biding his time in the backfield, running on the ball full tilt. Great tackle by Gabriel there to take him low. The last thing you want to do is take DHM up high.
Big Dylan Harrison playing both ways tonight. Left tackle now at right defensive end.
They're putting a lot of stock in Dylan Harrison, obviously a veteran of the sport, has played with the Ravens previously.
And mentioned it last week. It's been a great short year, University Gardner-Webb. A lot of tertiary football represented on this field this afternoon. Ravens in the red zone, 1st and 10. Hard count from Stegman, no one jumps. It'll be a give to Holiday Miller, looking to add his second touchdown. Has to beat a few Philip Cars there, though, to stop him. Holiday Miller stretched out, but he'll be marked short. A yard, maybe a yard and a half.
And one of Darius's best abilities in the backfield there, when the line is kind of crowded, is that jump cut. You know, for him to open up the lanes that were closed as he gets the mesh with the QB there, just with that jump cut, he can kind of cut back to the opposite A gap and get through. And as you see there, he's knocking on the door here.
A yard and a length of football away from adding another 6 points. Stegman in the pistol. Fawcett in the right slot. Bessie in the left. Low snap. He's looking that direction and will go to his wide right receiver and Warwick Russell. And Bones will add Stegman's first passing touchdown this afternoon.
I guess the common phrase is here against the Ravens, you've entered the bone zone when he gets you on this slant. Very shifty guy. I was speaking with Kenny earlier and a couple of the other players with the women's and the Raptors. To square Russell Warwick up, it's very difficult as a defender. You feel you've got him, then 1 second he's cut inside, or he's just gotten to the ground and gotten the yardage or the touchdown in this case. Looking
to convert his own touchdown. Successful on his first attempt. Hold is good. Kick is up, but hits the left upright. Score remains a 13-0. 2 touchdowns now in the Birdtown camp. Holiday Miller with a 60-yard dash. And now Warwick Russell with a 1-yard touchdown catch. $13-0 now. Very few offensive plays run up by the Ravens. Less than 10 so far.
He's a big man himself, Mitchell Bessie. Previously a long-time Bear as well.
Yeah. Want to talk about homecomings for some of these players? Yeah, he's been with the Ravens so long now, we do forget. He spent the first 6 years of his career, I think.
He's also a new father this year, so congrats to you. Yeah, very belated, like late. But
very right. Extremely.
We'll do it on air.
Husband and a father now over the past 18 months. Shout out to Castro Trias-Mono if she's not here watching in the crowd.
You can say that to Chris as well, Chris and Chrissy. It's another GQ family that started. Berth Carter, their daughter.
Speaking of which, Bessie to boot this downfield. Tinoco was down there, but it hits the back of the end zone. And touchback's called, and the Bears offense will jump on, robbed of an opportunity to Tinoco in the return game.
I think Tinoco wanted to get the ball. Then you could see him shaking his head as the touchback. I think he was itching at the bit there to get that ball and showcase his skills.
Prosser, who proved in the first half last week against the Stingrays, in his first ever start at quarterback, that he was capable of moving the ball downfield. They moved Tinoco into the slot, and several times they connected on those seam routes.
It's especially impressive considering he's, with the Bristol Academy, he was a right guard. He earned European first team honours in the US Overseas Military High School League as a lineman. So for him to come almost full circle and the person he's usually protecting, he now is.
Assessing the defense. Press up. Gets it. Looking to the right now. Is under pressure. Will be taken down. The Ravens grab their first sack of the night. That's Shelvin Takave-Chend.
I'll speak from first-hand experience here again as well. I know Shelvin is one of the hardest workers on that D-line. Just comes at it with such tenacity. He won't give up on a play. He's who you want in a D-lineman. He's not going to give up.
Several years now deep in his football career, up to year 4, I believe, his 4th season.
Yeah, probably even longer.
And penalty on the Bears there. That's accepted by the Ravens. I'm a little surprised. Thought they might have just taken the loss of yardage that came with the sack and taken the loss down. But
yeah, I agree. I think what they're hoping here is that D-line, you have Jack Capewell on the edge, you have Admiral Thompson on the other edge. Maybe they can force him in here for a potential safety or force a turnover.
Showing blitz now, the Ravens. They will blitz off the edge, and it will be a keeper, and he's done well, Posey, to try to evade the edge. And now Chris Clark has got the ball, and that's the second time Posey's lost possession into the arms of Chris Clark.
You see Chris comes here on a blitz, makes the first initial contact but doesn't give up. You'll see come here, loose carry, Chris grabs it straight out of his arms, thank you.
And what we talked about
And there was a bit
Posey,
of
and it will be first down at Ravens.
there was a bit
Posey.
of a high grab around the neck there. Sorry, Kenny, for interrupting you. I think that's what they're kind of discussing now.
Whether there was another illegal tackle being made, but talk about we're going to see it, and you can see that Posey's an athlete. He's used to working in space, maybe not as much traffic going on here, and that ball does escape his torso. And Johnny on the spot, it appears Chris
100%.
Clark is.
And I know Chris Clark, he's a ball hawk. He's fighting for that ball. He's punching it. He's coming in hard. That's all he's got eyes for.
And that's what you were alluding to earlier, Liam. A face mask penalty against the Ravens after the change of possession. So the turnover will stand, but they will be marched back.
Did see Troy signaling that as soon as he lost the ball there.
Or will they? Actually, no. It must have been before there, actually, because the Ravens' defense is still on the field. We saw the original first down signal for the Ravens, but
I believe they're calling that face mask here. As
yeah,
Chris makes
just right there.
And then
No,
it comes
fair
out
call.
here, and I think it might be Quimby there, 49. Just a bit too high.
And I don't think it was that one. I think it was actually the one on the initial contact on
right.
the far side of the field there that was around the face. And that has saved them their possession there. So first down, Bears following the 15-yard personal foul. Sprinting in motion now. Fake end around. They want to go downfield. They're looking for Tinoco, and he was fingertips away from converting on that play, on the coverage. Number 28, Daniel O'Day.
Great coverage there by Daniel. Managed to stick with him there. It looked like Gabriel got a great release there. Had a bit of space on the sideline to work with. But Dan O'Day, managed to stick in there and break up that play.
Trying to find a bit of misdirection to generate some offense now for the Bears. Turnover on their first possession, almost turning it over there on their second. And almost a stack out to the left-hand side. Long snap count, it will be a handoff. Posey can't find any space on this play. Trying to run behind the block of Liam Stedman, who was almost ruled out of this game.
I think he tried to extend that play a bit to the outside. I did see it, as he does move very fast. Great athlete. I think he should have just... What it looked like is that B gap might have been open. If he hit that, he could have at least grabbed 5 or 6 yards. But with you have that speed, the temptation is bounce outside.
Third down and long 7. May as well round that up to 8. For Prosser here in this offense, come out in the same formation. Stacks on the outside. Ravens showing blitz off the edge. They won't go with it though. They'll hand it off again on 3rd and long. And another big stuff on the play there.
That tackle was made by Tristan Ellis.
So is he wearing the 6?
Yeah, he's wearing the 6. So I think before it might have been Damien, the 26. I think that's where we might have been a bit confused.
Yeah, just wanted to confirm it is Tristan
I
Ellis
believe it's 6.
in the 6.
Although I have seen Connor Ellis out there too, and I know they do love to swap jerseys.
But is Connor Ellis back from his injury?
I believe so. I saw him earlier.
So sending in the special teams unit now after failing to pick up the first down on the 3rd and long. Bunting it downfield was Fletcher right up. He gets it. Doesn't progress downfield too far. In fact, maybe only about 10 yards on that punt.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything over 15, unfortunately. Not what you're looking for, but I guess a smart decision. They're kicking away from those returners. They're going to make them beat them with their offensive team and not the specials. Anyway, a key player on the defense, the Bears defense here, is starting middle linebacker Steve Dunn, number 51, defensive captain. The Bears love him, makes a bunch of tackles.
Pooh man done. Picking up his 4th interception of his career last week. Speed option to Holiday Miller onto the outside. Plenty of space. Wenbands in pursuit and holds on to him enough to run him out of bounds.
And that 4th interception you were saying, I believe it might have been a one-hander.
It was a one-handed one in the red zone.
As you see, if you watch the last game, Stegman pitch is a bit different to how yours was. Gone for a more traditional pitch there.
He's run plenty of offenses that feature that old speed option. Athletic quarterback in his own right. Very at home running the old speed option. Trips now out to the left. Warwick Russell alone on his right with Holiday Miller in the backfield. Short drop and almost intercepted. Losing that one is Nigel Wank.
No, he's kicking himself for that.
That
Very
was a
fast
gimme.
ball. Very fast ball. I think it hit him quicker than he thought. When you're dealing with a quarterback with the pedigree and skill set of Jared Stegman, you've got to expect that ball to come in with a bit of pepper on it.
There's timing there between Russell and Stegman. Quick huddle. Back at it. Now the right side of the line features two wide receivers with Bessie out in the left slot. He'll look that way. Stegman buys himself a little bit of time. Hits Bessie for his first catch of the day. Bessie takes us inside the 10.
What makes it difficult to guard Bessie is, I guess, the length or the amount of ground he can cover in his strides. As you can see, he gets himself space there in between the safety and the corner. Managed to convert those chains, and now they're in scoring position.
And Rowdy runs so well is that hitch to the outside, and it might only be a 4-step to hitch to some, but that's 8 yards to Mitch Bessie with those long strides.
That one step back is about 3 of mine.
And they've left him open. Philip Carr is technically covering him, but they'll give it to Holiday Miller in the red zone, and he's taken down nicely.
Great gritty run there by Darius, and great protection up front there. Van Blomstein was leading the way there, having a bit of a chatter with some Bears defenders.
Ashford in on the tackle. Back from what would look like his injury, but he's quickly back off the field again. Spread formation now. Force it back in the right slot. They'll look for him. No, it'll look for Warwick Russell on the outside again. And Warwick Russell thought he did enough to turn his body, but he will get them to the 1. Couldn't quite get the ball across the pylon.
Now, Russell Warwick is able to manipulate his body to catch these balls. It relieves you speechless. And
I thought he might have had a chance. He might have been
I thought he might have gotten that. It seems he might have gotten the pylon, but the official was there, so I won't doubt his call. He was right in front of it, had a better view of it than we did.
Marked him a yard short. Ravens with a 13-point lead here in the first. Trying to make that 3 scores before the end of the quarter.
No, Steve Dunn here at middle linebacker is one of the Bears to stand up and stop them.
He'll blitz here, and that they do. They send an all-out blitz. Not enough, though. Holiday Miller strolls in for touchdown number 2. The Ravens now lead 20 points to 0.
Good to see the pressure the Bears brought there, but the overwhelming push the Ravens O-line got there, and when you have a running back like DHM running there, he's going to find the gap.
20-point lead with a successful PAT upcoming. Warwick Russell now 1 from 2, hitting left upright in his last attempt.
He might be aiming for the right upright this time, Kenny.
That he does, and if he did, it was successful. 20-0. Now the buffer for the Ravens here in the first quarter.
So just a straight run inside. It's the benefit of operating in that pistol is you get the quarterback to jump out of your way, and you have view of both the A and the Bs on either side.
Moving back here, we're still talking about the Ravens' form of the last couple of weeks. As I said, took down the Raptors by 49 points, 42 points against Toowoomba, and then in a tougher battle, 37 points to 6 against Griffith. But they had 2 really close games, 2 games you were a part of there, with the close loss to Gold Coast at Gold Coast, 22 points to 21. And the shootout with the Rhinos that went all the way to the final bell as well. And Tanoko tried to field this, but he'll be ruled at the back as he bobbles it. And they'll take possession against at the 20 once more.
I think he just might have lost it in the light there. Also, if you lose it like that, I mean, I can't talk again. Horrible with catching, but I know an athlete like that, I think he's kind of getting a bit eager to get down the field, looking ahead of him before he's bringing the ball in. I think he knows that.
And Ravens currently, their Ravens defense currently winning the battle in the trenches against the Bears here. We'll see if the Bears try to look to the perimeter for a bit more help and productivity for their offense. They punted the ball away last drive. Now they find themselves with a first down and 20 following another successful Ravens offensive drive. 3 for 3. Brosser back with Posey at tail. Fake will be quarterback keep here by design. A bit of a quarterback draw on first down. Does enough to get them back to the line of scrimmage. They'll have 2nd and 10 upcoming.
One thing you would have seen there, if you're paying attention to the defensive line, Jack Capewell and Jason Leon were lined up very tight, and Dylan Harrison, making him having to make the decision. Trying to overwhelm that point, as you know, he's one of the anchors on that offensive line, that Bears offensive line. They managed to get penetration for their linebackers to come in and make the play.
2 big tackles there. Harrison obviously in one, and on the other side, the 73, Jackson Jones. And Prosser looking to hit the slat, and there's a perimeter attack we talked about. Finding a little bit of space there was Posey. Maybe grabs 1 yard by the end of the play.
So Jaron Hugaduk there making the tackle, but one thing I want you to keep an eye out is Jack Capewell getting pressure downfield, and then also following Troy Posey there to make the tackle and get involved.
That's the sort of stuff you can't coach.
Yeah, he's got a hard work effort.
Sometimes there are things you think a player either has or doesn't.
Yeah, no, he's got a very high motor rather.
Fell into the sport, 2013.
Yeah, actually played alongside him then, his rookie year.
Did both of you as captains. And here's the interesting thing. Pross has only seen the defensive jump. He didn't realize he's got a wide receiver jump at the same time. It'll be interesting to see.
I'm not sure which official blew it here, but the side judge here is throwing the flag, so I don't think it's going to work in the Bears' favour. Number 37, Fletcher Ryder there. He's tapped himself on the back. He's going, yeah, I know.
Ryder found himself downfield a couple of plays, mate, on the end of a couple of Prosser passes last week.
As you were saying before, I think most people are being shocked by the accuracy and the actual throwing motion of a big boy like Shane Prosser has downfield. It's quite impressive.
Ryder deemed responsible for that last penalty. A couple of key catches, if I remember correctly, right at the first down marker by Ryder last week, particularly in the first half. Hoping to channel some of that form again here tonight. Though he's got a big ass against Dan O'Day. Ball on the right hash. Here on a 3rd and long. Need 12 yards to complete here. They're looking for Tinoco, but they instead will find linebacker Tristan Ellis, and this Ravens defense finds their 2nd turnover for the day.
Tristan Ellis reading the ball here perfectly, reading the play rather. Yeah, I believe there might have been a cover 2 there, or a cover 3 rather. He's ran up to his hook to curl and just jumped the route perfectly. I guess Prosser under a bit of pressure there. Didn't get to exactly where he wanted it. But Tristan Ellis there showing his, at this point, I almost say veteran skills. Coming into the league in 2014, represented Queensland once or twice. I think even been selected for a national squad too.
Yeah, plenty of football under his belt. His brother as well, also decorated in his own right. A couple of Queensland and Australian call-ups for both of the Ellis boys. And now you can see an empty set here for the Ravens. Force it in the left side. Now they push Holiday Miller that way on the end around. A big stiff arm from Holiday Miller. Lowers the shoulder to get the first down. And that is a tough first down run there from Holiday Miller on the jet sweep.
As I stated before, the tackle that Gabriel did in the first, you do not want to take Darius Holiday Miller up high. You want to take him low.
Which is hard to do because he's not exactly a tall man, standing at about 5'7".
It's not the most enjoyable thing to tackle him, but it can be done.
I do think of the previous years. I think back to 2012 when Darius, and I say this is his words specifically, referred to himself as a fatback when he was playing closer to 100 kgs and had a slightly different running style.
I got to tell you what, I think I took the mantle this year.
And that will be the end of the first quarter. 3 first quarter touchdowns to the Ravens gives them a 20-point lead as both teams take the walk to the other side of the field.
The thing we were discussing earlier, just before the game, with head coach Carlos, was the injuries that have actually plagued, I think, the league and a lot of other teams. But for example, just with the Bears, they have Christian Arnold, starting safety in QB2, broken scapula. Carlos has injured his AC joint. Rob Davey, starting left guard, broken thumb. Harley Baker, starting defensive end, broken humerus.
I'll give a shout out to Harley Baker. We saw him go down in last week's stream. Ended up finishing the game with a fractured humerus. How that's even possible, given your humerus is under all that pressure just by running, was one hell of an effort. Valiant, possibly stupid, but a valiant effort nonetheless.
I think it's probably a testament to his toughness.
A couple other injuries there as well. Alexander Green lost for the season.
How's that? The Alexander Green I know Alexander Green.
Sure. Yeah. And now Holiday Miller swinging out to the right. Will he be the target? That he is. He's got plenty of open space, but now shedding a block is one of the Bears' DBs. It was Nigel Wank, who almost had a pick in the first quarter. And eventually taking him down is Daniel Wembam.
This is good for Jaron Stegman. He gets to make a decision here. If he sees the screen, he's also got the backside passing routes in action. But they're easy decision to give it to Darius.
And Holiday Miller takes us inside the 10. We've now got first and goal for the Ravens. Ball at the Bears 7. And Holiday Miller will remain in the backfield.
You see rookie Andy Leclerc here on number 47 there on the left.
He had one of his first touchdowns of his career. And a clean pocket, and the ball was delivered nicely to Fawcett. He couldn't reel it in.
Nigel's going to be kicking himself for that, given that he has played receiver quite extensively for the Ravens and the Thunder here. He might have just lost it mid-flight.
And dare I say it, is that a situation where he should have looked for the 2 hands?
Yeah. I'm not going to say 1 hand for beginners, but 2 hand for beginners rather.
Warwick Russell now, already 1 touchdown to his name in the first quarter in the left slot. Ravens receivers moving all over the place. It'll be a stretch to Holiday Miller. He'll bounce to the outside and will be stopped short. Once again, it's the edge pairing of Wenban and Wank who stop him from getting into the end zone.
A good effort there to keep him out from running it in there for 6.
And just dragging out last week's information there on Wenban there. Finally returning last week from pretty much a full season off after dealing with a Giardia infection for about 12 months. Let's just say it's not pretty.
Okay.
Ends up really messing with your insides for quite some time. I'm sure he's excited to be back to a position where he's comfortable enough to play football. And this will be a keeper for Stegman. Shows off a little pump fake, walks us into the end zone, but flags are down on the left side of the field.
That's the thing about having regardless of what the outcome here of this flag is, it's the benefits of having a dynamic quarterback like Jared Stegman here. Does the mesh option, sees the opportunity to take it in there for 6.
And legal formation will rub this touchdown out. The read option, it was a gorgeous one. A lot of the defense flowed to the left side where Holiday Miller was faked to. And
I believe from memory, I'm not selling secrets here, but they look like it's almost like an RPO. So there's the read option. They also had receivers running their routes. And then Stegman can also make the decision, you know, do I take it, do I throw it?
Not enough people on the backfield or on the line of scrimmage. That last play, they'll go back. 3rd down and goal. And Holiday Miller will get it this time. Now trying to race people out. Will follow a block from Stegman. Looking for the pylon. Will get inside it. Great downfield blocking from those wide receivers. And the Ravens advance the score to 26-0.
And well done to extend that by Jaron Stegman, but also well done to extend that to Darius there. For a minute, it looked like it was going to be taken in the backfield. Probably ran about 50 yards to get the 3-yard touchdown, but well done by the team. Great team effort.
Holiday Miller now with 2 scores. Sorry, 3rd in fact. 3 touchdowns in the first half. Hold is good, kick is up, and a kick is good. Ravens lead. Top of the second, 27-0.
Just the ability to keep this alive. Still missed tackles here and get it in that back corner when the play was originally going to the right. Could have lost the ball to the roof.
Well, the ball boys.
The key thing is for the Bears is not get your head down. Obviously with the injuries and other people out with work commitments and whatnot, they need to stick in with each other and see this game through. It's only the second quarter.
And right now,
a lot more football to be played.
Feeling the loss of a couple of these defensive front players, Harley Baker we talked about earlier, and also Michael Croft starting outside backer for him, who's at his job where he moonlights as a lawyer.
Okay.
Doing some significant work there, I've been led to believe, and possible precedent-setting work. He's been away for the last 2 weeks, handling business, and this kickoff will go out of bounds.
Good opportunity here for the Bears. See what they decide to do.
Well, they might actually take the re-kick here with both Tinoco and Posey just chomping at the bit for an opportunity to return a football.
I agree with you.
Oh, their offense looks like they're keen to get on, so they might just take the spot foul. Yeah, no one's lining up. They'll just take the field position. First down for the Bears. Ball on their own. 33. Russell with spread. And play action pass will look for a receiver on the outside there. He was trying to connect with Stephen Soon, who's back from a week away, but Soon went inside and Russell went outside.
It seemed that he was expecting Soon to be on the outside there. Don't know if that's a miscommunication or perhaps the Ravens defense pressure there, rushing Prosser a bit.
But a crazy amount of communication post-play, so they might just come back to that if they didn't mind the look of that. 27-0, Bears on second down now. Second and 10 from the 34. A bad snap. Prosser has to go back for it. He's in a race against Capewell. And Capewell might have got it here, but I don't know if you heard at home, but that whistle, to me, came out once Prosser put his hand on the ball, so
I think the officials will keep it as Bears football there. They blew the whistle once Prosser jumped on the ball there.
Well, it's kind of odd.
I think it was a bit early.
If you asked me, he never took possession of that, but easy to make the call with replays, your friend.
I think
in any case, Bears keep possession, but they have a very tough assignment ahead of them. Looking at a third and almost 30.
This is where that Ravens defensive line can really bring the pressure. You've just seen how much penetration Jack Capel, number 52 here on the left end, can get.
This is Jerry Faragata also rotating in on the defensive line in a tackle at the moment. Prosser with 5-man protection. Well, we had a man underneath there, and the 19 and Finn Laidlaw, but the pass didn't have enough gas on it.
Seemed to throw a bit flat-footed. Again, I think it is the pressure coming through. You know, you see Jack Capel managed to get an inside release, and then having Big Jerry probably taking up two linemen there on the as a nose tackle.
And
the silver lining, I guess, is no turnover, no point score for the Ravens. They can punt this away and give the Bears defense another shot here.
Fletcher right back. Let's punt this away, trying to improve on his first punt. Good snap, and this one punt is high. And a fair catch. Oh, call it a surprising fair catch from Warwick Russell, who will set the Ravens up around halfway, but he had plenty of space in front of him. Guess he wants to make those yarders up on an offense rather than special teams.
I think he's got himself on his own fantasy team.
And clearly that fantasy league doesn't account for a special teams yardage. First down and 10 for the Ravens there. Offense has been formidable so far. Trips right. Batted down. Pass incomplete. Dylan Harrison, one of the veterans on this team, trying to stand up for this Bears defense.
I'm not surprised that this has happened. As you can see, he's coming off the edge. He's a stand-up.
See
what's going on there. Just a stand-up rusher. Kind of looked like a Jadeveon Clowney back at South Carolina there.
I'll take that, mate.
Yeah.
Given the specimen that is Jadeveon Clowney.
Well,
flag
the
on
specimen
the
is
play.
Dylan Harrison.
And they'll be holding, and the Bears might actually will take this one. That they do, move them back 10 yards. And yeah, obviously Staff started wide receiving call for the Ravens, but one of those starters right now, number 47,
Andrew Leclerc.
Clerk, 7 of 47, trying to find his way to contribute tonight as well and get on the stat sheet.
So the Bears defense have the Ravens O on the back foot here.
First and 20. Let's see if the Bears dial up some pressure. Dunn wants to blitz. Dunn will blitz. He gets into the backfield. It is a keeper, though, on the RPO. And now there's a bit of work there for Fawcett, who does it. Breaks through the tackle of two would-be tacklers. Shaking up the DBs now against Philip Carr. Puts a stiff arm and is run out of bounds around the 13. An explosive play there from Nigel Fawcett.
That's the dual sport athlete there. He's currently playing baseball for the Carolina Red Sox. See him here making people miss. He's also quite a big dude, so him shrugging those tackles off on a defensive back, you know, he's normally a power back there in the backfield. He's got future plans, I believe, to get recognised in Europe, and that sort of production there is what he'll need to double down on and make more of.
Bears taking a timeout here. Not an unusual move there after a team's made an explosive play to get inside the red zone. A dual sport athlete there. He talked about, we both alluded to his baseball history there, and now he's obviously playing locally at Carolina. You know, tried to make a hope run on that play.
It's quite interesting. You'll see him on any given, you know, on a Monday or a Wednesday training night. He's thrown 6 innings on the weekend. He's a bit tight and sore, so it's a bit hard for him to get moving during a training week. But yeah, he keeps himself busy, keeps himself active. I think he's trying to double up his opportunities. I think athletics is his big focus. As I said before, I think I spoke with him earlier today, and his big focus is to try and get the film he needs to hopefully be able to get a shot at playing Europe ball, you know.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more frequent with Australian gridiron athletes. Europe is becoming a home for a lot of players.
And Alan Steinhort over there is just taking out a championship, and
the German national championship.
And Joel Maddock has attended the NFL Europe draft, or not the draft,
combine.
combine. That's the one.
which is a goal he's been working towards for a long time. I'm sure a lot of the European athletes have been. First and 10 now, ball at the 14. Also got them down there as at the right slot outside here, Mark Russell. 2 in the backfield though, and now Bessie, who starts as a fullback, will move out to the left slot. And new running back in now, and he's got plenty of space, bouncing it to the outside, untouched for 6.
That's rookie running back Kieran Klein.
Oh, Kieran Klein.
Now, he's had a pretty rough run. This is his first season. He's had a couple of hamstring tears, which have held him out most of the season here, but you can see here his patience, getting the mesh there, seeing it all break down, cutting to the right, hitting the corner for 6 points.
And first career touchdown?
I'm not sure, unless he scored when you live streamed him, but I think it'll be one of his, if not his first.
Impressive effort there from Klein, trusted for the goal line work. Serves the team well in the red zone. BAT is up, and good, only, hits the roof again. I thought that was a goalpost. Pretty good night for Russell. As the ball's retrieved.
Great design there on the roof.
And taking a look at one time. It's almost a counter play,
isn't it? So you can never tell. With the pistol handoff, obviously Stegman moving out the way. I believe it's almost like an inside dive read. I think the target is obviously that left side A gap, but if that closes down, you have the ability to then bounce it back.
34 points to 0 now. Strong first half here from the Sun Bowl hopefuls. Have been featured in a multitude of the last 5 Sun Bowls. Unfortunately, haven't been able to get over that final hump. A couple of close ones though, pushing the Gold Coast Stingrays in one of the most memorable Sun Bowls in double overtime a couple seasons ago. Sorry to bring back memories.
Yeah, thanks.
And this is recovered but fumbled again into Chris Clark. What are the absolute odds of that? Whoa. Hurdling there is Clark. And Clark again denied the opportunity to take this back for 6. But it is almost freakish that he's been on the end of
Jacob
3
Eaton
fumbles.
might have forced that free there. He's the kill, or the 3 on the kickoff there on the right side. Forced the ball free for Chris Clark to be able to get out there. And, man, the boy has hops, the guy playing out of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
And I think that might have been Malachi Arthur who was back for a return there. And a bit of ball security might now be on the training list for the Bears after 2 fumbles now has gifted the Ravens with amazing field position, almost 3. So, right where we were a couple of plays ago, and staying in the game is Klein. Trips out to the left. Stegman's looking that way, climbing the pocket, buying some time out to the right hand now. Warwick Russell can't get free, so Stegman will take it himself, pick up a couple of yards in the process.
Can't see who that was there guarding Russell Warwick, but pretty sure it was a little better move with Warwick Russell not being able to get free. I think there might have been a bit of a cheeky grab there.
And Tanoko on the coverage.
Bones is going to kill me because I think I've called him by the wrong name about 3 times. I played with him, I played with him for about 2 or 3 years.
So what happens when you yell at someone by their nickname?
Yeah.
2nd and 6. Russell Warwick out to the far right.
Remember that.
Nigel Forsett inside him. Stegman. Sets the defense. Quick pass out of his hands and an uncharacteristic easy drop there from Bessie.
Especially as a veteran receiver. Pretty sure you don't want to know those words he just said, but you can tell by the eye roll. He was not pleased with himself there. He knows he can do better. But also great coverage there by the Bears defender to kind of stick on him there.
And that is one of the most gifable eye rolls I have seen covering live Gridiron. Situation is 3rd and 5. 7 yards away from pay dirt. Perhaps a couple inches less. Clark, very wide now. quick pass over the middle, almost intercepted. Pass was intended to force it incomplete. 4th down now.
Lost the ball there for a second, but you can see Jared Stegman so eager to throw these slants, and he hits him at such a pace. It's kind of hard for anyone to get a hand on it. But number 51 there on the Bears, I believe that was Stephen Dunn. Broke down on there very fast, almost got there. I know he's chomping at the bit to get in there.
And they're keeping their offense in here. Thought they'd be sending the field goal unit out there. But coming in with the play is Jared Stegman in this offense. Leclerc, could he possibly be joining the stat sheet tonight? Still lined out at the X. Looking to the left of Stegman, but he'll look for Klein in the flat. Klein will have some work to do to try and convert this. He might have got the first. Well short of a touchdown. I think
sitting about the 3-yard line here. Nice little swing out there by Kieran Klein.
Needed to get to the 2. And I think... No,
Appears to be a turnover.
Thought he might have done it. The Bears' defense has done it. Turnover on downs. And they'll get their offense back on the field.
Good effort there by the Bears to string that play out there.
About 1 yard short.
A lot of positive talk here on the Bears sideline now. They're very stoked with that effort there. And so they should be.
Bears hoping for a bit of a quick strike here. Minutes ticking down in the second quarter. Trying to avoid turning the ball over. A couple of fumbles now on the ledger. Chris Clark lurking in the backfield. And this will be give to Posey. Posey in the backfield. This is what he's been hoping for over the last couple of weeks. A big run out of the shadow of his own goalpost. Gets it past out the 20.
We discussed this before the stream. Once he hits that gap, once he gets in the space, it's very hard to catch him. New Mexico State University athlete there, showcasing his speed. He's just wanting to get that second level where he can make a move and take it to the house.
And you just saw, how about that running form once he got past the initial traffic, opening up the stride and looking beautiful. Div 1 athleticism right there.
It really stands out.
Most productive offensive play for the Bears today. Looking to work off the back of that now. 1st down and 10. We'll go back to Posey. Posey, he's got some space to the outside, but he's got Clark to beat, and Clark refuses to get beaten. Great form tackle.
When you come up against Chris, it's very hard. He's going to be putting his head in your chest. It's going to be a big tackle here, but great job by Posey to get to the outside here. But even better tackle there by Chris Clark there, number 5.
Maybe not textbook by today's standards, but all the coaches from beyond the 80s would have been absolutely stoked with that helmet first tackle there by Chris Clark. Gutta back in at tackle. Crosses with receivers split evenly across the field. Ball on the right hash. Across the 2nd down. He's under pressure immediately. We'll have to eat a sack here. Chris Clark is racking up the stats tonight. Now has half a sack to his name.
Great job there by Chris Clark, and also Adniel Thompson to come through with the support here. You see him coming off the right edge there. There was no time for Prosser to react and get the ball out. Good decision to kind of, I guess, roll over and take the sack there. Secure the ball, not give up the ball, especially in this position of the field.
Well, Prosser impressed a number of people last week with the light footwork at the quarterback position. A lot better than many would have suspected, and only took one official sack that day. This time, though, I think even the most agile of quarterbacks would have had trouble escaping that one, with Clark and Thompson breathing down their necks. Looking for more players, and it might be consecutive sacks. Chasing him is Capewell, and Prosser is on the move. Chan now looking for a block, and the big man gets the first down.
Well done, Mr. Prosser, well done. It's a good sight to see a man of that height and weight moving outrunning the defensive end here and the defensive tackle, getting to the edge and converting those sticks.
And now he walks back to the huddle as if it was never in doubt. Huge play by the quarterback there this evening.
That's awesome to see.
The guard turned quarterback. And so far, this is the best offensive drive the Bears have put together tonight. First down and 10, 2 first downs on this drive. They're going to go back to Posey. Started this drive off well, still chomping at the feet. And picks up 3.
So as I was saying earlier, Posey's starting to hit his gaps on the inside and not hesitating, trying to bounce them out. Getting great yardage now. You know, cop some bigger hits, but you're moving the down counter.
Posey joining the long lists of Div 1 athletes have decided to make the journey down to Australia for a season. Started actually with a Birdtown before finding his home at Logan City.
I got to see him showcase his talents firsthand in training and scrimmages and things like that. And there's a lot of tangible and intangible skills that a lot of other people don't have. So
Bears need a 6. And a bit of space here on the right-hand side for Prosser if he chooses to use it. He'll throw to the left instead. Trying to hit Tinoco. But the pass short there, and then I'll bring up second down.
So the space Stephen Soon had above Chris Clark. Although it might be smart to avoid Chris Clark with the amount of impact he's made in this game so far, just in this first half. But it's a bit hard to for me to overlook all that space Stephen Soon had there in the slot and on the right side.
Well, the Ravens, and I won't have you confirm this, mate, but it's fair to say they play a significant amount of zone defense. So
cannot confirm nor deny.
And now they'll look to even up the numbers a bit more. And it's another bad snap. It'll be another race back, and I think Capewell might win this one. That he does. This time Capewell comes away with it. And I had shades of Capewell's first senior career touchdown a couple seasons ago where he took it back against the Gold Coast for 50 yards. This time, no such luck, but still.
That's the thing I was saying before. In these small mistakes, with Jack Capewell's high motor, he will capitalise on things like this. You know, he's only going to let it escape him once. So, a great opportunity there that Capewell has taken to get the ball for his offence.
Well, the foot race between Prosser and Capewell has been featured a couple times tonight now.
This is true.
We saw Prosser race back and beat him to the fumble, and then we saw Prosser outrun him for the first down. And now this time Capewell gets a measure of revenge, taking the ball away, putting the Ravens right back on the attack. Stegman inside the red zone. Holiday Miller's back in the game, breaking tackles. That should have been over in the backfield, but escaping it like a magician was Holiday Miller. Cops a hit close to the first down marker.
As you can see here, it's not there first, bouncing out of arm tackles. Great block here by number 7, Nigel Forsett there. Extend the play, getting right to the almost to the 10-yard mark. It doesn't seem they've converted yet. Maybe 2 or 3 short. He does look like Houdini back there, half the time.
And
me, obviously.
Getting a call here. The referees want to discuss something.
Well, at the moment, it's me obviously playing running back at the start of the year for the Ravens. Big shoes to fill, and you got to realise you can't be a Darius Holiday Miller. You got to be the way you run, the way you play. Very big shoes to fill there, and you know it's been years and years. Darius has played for over 10 years now.
Yeah, he started in 2007 for the Western Cougars, obviously currently defunct and hopefully on their way to returning with a junior program out in Wakehall at the moment. And a dead ball foul against the Bears.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
And we couldn't obviously hear who it was, but it's against the Bears, so half distance automatic first down. And well, unfortunately, we don't hear who it was, but there'll be one more of those away from taking an early shower. And after all that, the Bears will take a timeout to try and digest the situation and possibly have a chat about discipline.
bit unfortunate to give away that foul there as well. Keeping him short of the first down and then to have the unsportsmanlike on top of it. Albeit there were some missed tackles. It wasn't the best play you want on defense, but you were still at second and third, and you had the opportunity to extend it to 3 if you make a big play. So very unfortunate that had to happen. I'm sure it's being addressed. Me, speaking from experience, because I've been on the other hand of a few of those.
Yes, you have.
I've been the other side.
Yes, you have.
I'm sorry.
Going back to Holiday Miller, I'm just trying to go back in the old Mind Palace to remember it was. I'm almost certain it was 2007. He made his junior debut for the Western Cougars and won Rookie of the Year, if memory serves correctly, that year before moving to the Ravens in 2000 and... Actually, it might have been 2008. In 2007, 2008, moved over to Ravens, won a junior MVP before joining the Bears in 2009, where he got to a Sun Bowl and was taken down by his former team in the Ravens.
Yeah. It's a shame, Pressy, having a discussion with the White Hat about the play that's just occurred. And good captain move to mediate between the two and make sure their relationship or the reputation of the Bears isn't being tarnished by...
And also just to get an understanding
100%
of the expectations. And we do apologise we can't communicate to you more of the exact situation of that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, but in any case, the Ravens have possession and are inside the 5. They'll give it to Holiday Miller, looking for 4 first half touchdowns. It won't happen on this play. The defense stuffles up. Oh, what a push after the play.
Much better defensive stand there by the Bears. Gang tackling, everyone getting there. I didn't see where the push occurred there. I just missed it.
We'll have to have some chats with the Bears sideline because a few players, including Mr. Number 99 there, not on the provided team list.
Regardless of the extracurriculars after that last play, that's the stand you want right now as the Bears defense. Stevie don't know about you, chomping at the bit to get in there.
Quick throw here from Stegman, and no one's showing too much excitement. It would be a touchdown on the play, but we've got another flag down on the same sideline through the unsportsmanlike. Holiday Miller seems to have accepted the fate of the call, whatever it may be.
Slight little shoulder roll and then a head down. Carry on.
Offside on the offense now. Yeah, there you go. That's something you don't see very often. The offense.
Andy Leclerc there.
And it was on one of the offensive line, number 50. It's Matt Bailey, the experienced Matt Bailey, a left tackle. If anything, are usually lined up about half a yard in their own territory, preventing a touchdown there. So the Bears now building a bit of momentum. Second down. Ravens have to go again. Just under 5 yards from the end zone. Holiday Miller again evades the first wave of defenders before adding his 4th touchdown this evening here just in the first half.
Yeah, Darius, they almost looking like a turnstile with the spin move. You should almost take the tackler on a ride with him there. You see Jared Stegman clearing the way. He's running straight up the left A-gap there. No one's hitting and sticking. Straight in for the touchdown. I think a big focus here for the Bears going into the second half is these tackles. The tackle attempts need to be much more aggressive, much more disciplined. Maybe not so aggressive.
I want to work on your halftime chat there, Liam Reeves. Oh, this one falls down and will be recovered by the Bears. That's Warwick Russell's second unsuccessful PAT of the night. Score remains 40 points to 0. An impressive scoreline here for the Ravens in the first half.
See here, there's no form tackle here. When shoulders being thrown in or arms being thrown around, and with a player of the caliber like Darius, it's not going to work.
It's their 5th rushing touchdown this evening. The Ravens, 4 to Holiday Miller, 1 to Clint, and Warwick Russell, 1 yard receiving touchdown. Bessie back to kick us off. Bit more of a line drive this time round, and again, for the second time tonight, find its way over the sideline. Philip Carr was back to return.
Like you said before, I think a good decision here to try and get it in the hands of playmakers might be to take the re-kick, but it seems they're sending their offense out and they're going to start with the placement.
Well, they had a good drive at going, the Bears, last time round before it abruptly came to a stop. They managed to get into Ravens territory. And it started with a big run there by Posey.
Seems they're on the Ravens front seven talking with each other. Brad Ebden communicating with Jake Capwell.
In motion now is Soon. Soon crosses the quarterback's face. Capewell at the edge, and they were trying to get a bit of a screen going there with Posey, which I do like that idea, but the execution not quite there.
Seems Jackson Jones got in the way of the play there. There's also the heads-up vision of maybe Posey's just too fast for Mr. Jones there, but
yeah, they might have to go back there, and because ultimately it still was pretty well done there from Jackson Jones.
I agree.
That's the sort of rhythm you want to be going with, and I think they just might need to make the adjustment with Jones to just have him sit a bit earlier.
Even if Posey waits a second and he can delay off the back there, he doesn't have to split the guard the tackle. He wants to be staying behind them.
Because that's about as good as you can do that.
100%.
From Jackson. And now they'll hand the ball off. Did have some screens on the outside as an option. Posey will grab a couple of yards off that. And also gets up a little gingerly. And that play takes us into the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Bears desperately trying to get on the scoreboard before half's end.
I'm trying to see who that tackle was made of. It might have even been Connor Ellis.
Defensive backs backed off for the Ravens. Spread formation for the Bears. Throwing off his back foot was Prosser and into the arms of Daniel O'Day, who's flipped sides. Now he's taking it downfield. He's got blockers in front of him and eventually takes it out of bounds. The Ravens defense feasting on takeaways tonight.
Dan O'Day able to get himself in great position earlier on, so can make a play on that ball here. Breaks it to the right. Great blocking by the Ravens defense.
Aaron Harrison Watt, the intended receiver on that play, and that might have just been born out of the Bears just trying to find some sort of explosion to their offense right now and taking the chance trying to get downfield.
I agree, they're in a position now where it's not going to, as bad as it sounds, it's not going to hurt them too much, right? They just need to get points on the board, getting the ball in the hands of the playmakers.
Trips left for the Ravens. Holiday Miller with a delayed play action. Barson almost picking that off, and he would have been going the other way, no doubt. Philip Carr.
He's kicking himself on that one, so close. This has happened a couple of times now. Stegman's going to have to tighten it up. Great pressure there by the Bears defense as well.
And look, yeah, I know the Ravens offense has been explosive, but they have put themselves out there to make mistakes, and that Bears defense, you need to be able to capitalize on those opportunities.
100%.
You had one earlier there with Wenk possibly getting close to an intercept. That's another one there that could have really changed field position there, and they've let it slide. And
Philip Carr's got to keep his head up and put himself in that position again.
And quick slant over the middle, incomplete pass intended to Bessie. Jeremiah in the coverage in that play.
The pass was thrown a bit behind Bessie, a bit hard for him to get that. He'll still be kicking himself there. Stegman's rounding the troops here, see if we can make something happen. See if they can make something happen rather before the half comes.
They're down in 10. Ravens almost with a full 2 minutes when they took over. Plenty of timeouts as well in hand as they approach the final minute of the game. Bessie with Spread formation. Looking to the easy pass on the outside to Bones. Gets it on the comeback route. Might have been enough to move the chains.
The Bears are after some pressure there. Sent about 6 people. One almost looked like they were spying the running back and trying to follow Darius.
They need a 10, got 11.
Bit of frustrations here on the sideline.
First down and 10. Trips out to the left once again. One of the base formations for the Ravens. The late handoff for Holiday Miller. He'll walk in untouched. His 5th touchdown here in the first half. And they're only getting easier for him.
It's not even surprising. Darius is one of the best running backs in the country. So for him here on the delay there. Caught the Bears defense a bit on the back foot.
20 yards untouched.
It's a great call there for the draw as well, because the Bears have been bringing the pressure in this drive. Just the play before, they sent 5 to 6 people.
I think back to 2017 when the Holiday Miller draw was such a key play for this offense, and they took advantage of it in the Sun Bowl. PAT successful, 47 points. The Ravens now lead over the Bears here towards the dying seconds of the first half.
Saying there were some frustrations here on the Bears sideline before. It is important to not get on each other. Oh, it's hard to say that, obviously, when you're 47
gig.
down.
Yeah.
Being a developmental club again, obviously re-entering the league this year. They are one of the oldest clubs in GQ as well, so do have a pedigree to kind of uphold.
I've just seen a couple of changes made on my team sheet. The jersey number 76 is actually Jesse Beck. Another one of those players who've been playing for a very long time. Was listed as 94, wearing jersey number 76, playing on the offensive line.
Yeah, I just looked at Kenny. I know you can't see what I'm doing back now. I just looked at Kenny with drop jaw because I played alongside him too.
Philip Carr, another one of these Bears juniors, and another fumble. This one picked up from Bradley Ebden. And Ebden now.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Chris Clark just forced that fumble again.
We got tired of forcing him, tired of recovering him, and he thought he'd force one. That he did. And Ebden, clean set of heels all the way, 20 yards on special teams to the end zone. And just a brutal finish to the half here for the Bears, just when they think it couldn't get worse. To say it frankly, it does.
No, yes. And seeing this is the half here, and I guess the thing is, you obviously don't want your players getting injured, or losing their cool.
And here the thing is, there's plenty of talent on this Bears team. 100%. Unfortunately, just the continuity and maybe the chemistry is just not there. It's their first year back. A lot of these players haven't had the luxury, as this goes wide left. Good pressure there from the Bears as a consolation.
It's great you touched on that chemistry there. Let's just look at this play by Chris here.
And that's intentional. That's no fluke.
That is very intentional, yeah. It's not a fluke. I can tell you it doesn't feel too nice on the end of a Chris Clark hit either.
Indiana native. The Indiana native who will now be calling, I imagine, for the foreseeable future, be calling Australia home with his son being born.
Daughter,
apologies.
I gotcha.
Sorry, Chrissy.
Shout out to Chrissy. I think she's on the sideline over there somewhere. But yeah, as you were touching on before, I think the chemistry is one of the bigger ones here.
Huge.
There's, as you were saying, like we probably said earlier in the last few broadcasts, is you have people from other teams. There's Thunder people here, there's Thunder players here, there's Wildcats.
Bears OGs and plenty of
Ravens,
Rockies.
and there's a big mix here. So I think they are building something special, and
it'll just take a bit of time.
100%.
Bessie booms this down to the opposite end zone. He keeps it in field this time. Again, Philip Carr. Does he have any PTSD? Being chased there by Wooten and taken down from behind. It's a good chase there from the Ravens special teams, who still are not done relentlessly chasing Philip Carr down there.
It's Wooten and Capo there corralling number 15, Philip Carr.
The Bears offense finally getting back on the field.
For you Triple M enthusiasts, the left corner for the Ravens right now is David Nash. You'll probably recognise him from broadcasts on Triple M.
Moving down was part of the broadcast team up there, and now he's doing his thing down here. One thing that they haven't gone back to is that fake jet sweep that almost got Tinoco downfield. I'm surprised they haven't gone back to that.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think it's very promising. I think the big thing now is just the pressure coming up the middle, and here they're just going to take a knee.
And honestly, I can't blame them for that. Many might say that's the soft way to exit, but they've seen what happens when they're trying to add points, and really added
100%.
more for the Ravens, and that should see us close the first half here. But the Ravens are taking a timeout, and I'm going to say it. Is it necessary? And I'm sure the competitive part of the audience is going to say absolutely. But, I mean, Birdtown, you got 53 points on the board.
Oh, I can't comment, obviously.
I wouldn't expect you to.
Birdtown native, but...
Darius Holiday-Miller is out there as a coach, not as a player, and he's justifying his decision. And anyone who knows Holiday-Miller personally knows why he probably couldn't.
I think they just called the game there. They kind of overruled.
Well, they called the half at least.
Coach Holiday-Miller, so yeah, the half, not the game.
And in any case, so that will be the end of the first half. Both teams will head to their respective corners and talk things through and talk adjustments for the second half. Kenny Andres, Liam Reeves here on a very dominant first half performance for the Ravens. Probably one of the biggest first half performance in Ravens history. We'll take a short break for halftime. We'll be back here to present half number 2 very shortly. All right, folks, welcome back to half number 2, week 10 on the Gridiron Queensland live stream is brought to you by live streaming Brisbane Paul Mills, working the buttons and the camera this evening up top, the scaffolding right there. Well, story of the second half will be a fight for pride, really, for the Bears. 53 points put on them in the first half. A bit of a historic scoreline for them, but that's got to be behind them right now. Right now, it sounds cliche, Liam Reeves, as I bring you back into the call, but they've just got to go back to thinking 0-0 and doing the best they can.
Yeah, start the half as if it were, 0-0 aside, You need to wipe the slate clean and have the attitude you start, you see them all, the Bears boys were all getting hype and, they're ready for the challenge when the game started, but it seems to kind of withered as the fumbles and the scores have racked up, so they need to dig deep here and find whatever gets them motivated again.
They will get the ball back to start the second half as Bessie kicks us off. Philip Carr will be back deep to return. He'll catch it on the one hop before the lead block of Tinoco. They're keeping the ball away from him in the open field. Spins away from one tackle Carr, but eventually will get taken down around the 15. Bears player down. It might be Tinoco. Gabriel Tinoco clutching at his right ankle.
Yeah, you don't want to see that on the Bears. He's a vital part of their offense as well. He hasn't got the ball as much as he'd like. Just seems to be in a bit of pain here. It might not be too serious. Fingers crossed.
Looks like he will walk off under his own power, but fundamental improvements necessary for the Bears in the second half. I mean, one of the obvious ones was probably ball security.
That too, 100%. I think the big thing is the O-line, dealing with the pressure with this Ravens defense. I guess the time for the QB, Shane Prosser, and obviously also Troy Posey, be able to make his cuts and hit his gaps. It's quite limited, and more so they don't have enough time to develop the play.
Yeah, on top of that, we did speak to both Prosser and Carlos Williams. A bit of focus on tackling was also atop the halftime chat. Stuff on the play there by Ebden. Short gain by Posey.
I see Ebden initially starting off with the Sunshine Coast Spartans, obviously with the, wouldn't say the decline in the program, but the decline in numbers. He's come down here with Warwick Russell to continue to play ball and compete for a championship with the Bayside Ravens.
Prosser back in a quarterback. No intercepts yet tonight. Ball tipped there and caught there by Soon, and that's a catch on second down, and that'll move things up.
Good catch there by Stephen Soon. You do want the ball there quicker, but you know, to start off the half, this is a great little play here to get some yardage. And then obviously the tackling there by Damon Buterak and David Nash there, also just as good. That's a good, 5 to 6 yard gain right there on the first play, or one of the first plays rather.
They still have 4 yards to go here on 3rd and 4. Quimby now in it, outside linebacker, and it'll be a design QB keeper. Prosser gets stood up though before getting past the first down at yardage.
And that's that Tristan Ellis, Jason Leon and Brad Ebden getting involved there.
All types of instructions coming from the Bears sideline now. 4th down and just more than a yard. No variation in formation. Fourth and 1. Bears trying to generate something here early in the 3rd quarter. Speed option, but the pitch is behind Posey. And whistles are blown in. This will be a turnover on downs. It's the first time they've tried to run that this game, and clearly might need a little more practice on that.
Posey's going to be a bit dirty on that. Feels he was a bit hung out to dry there, and I know Prosser was the first one of the first to get there and say, sorry, buddy. Yeah, I think a little more practice on that needs to obviously occur. There was no communication. And
do like the idea, though. Just trying to find ways to try and get Posey out in the open.
Well, look what they have been doing, and we talked about some things that were promising earlier on. You know, getting the ball into the playmakers and the athletes you have like Posey and Tinoco are vital.
Klein breaking through now. No production lost without Holiday Miller. He's still going and takes this within the 5. And immediate calls for medic. Both teams called immediately, and we're seeing a Raven player clutching at the knee. I think it's Klein. Both teams immediately expressing concern for Klein at the end of that run.
That's not good. As I stated earlier, he's had a rough run with hamstring tears earlier on, and to see him grasping at his knee now.
Well, we didn't quite see the back end of that run there, but there were a lot of body parts in that final little scrum at the end there, and Kieran Klein looks like he's come out of the...
I think the big thing that kind of told you it's a bad injury is the yells actually coming from the Bears to get the medic in there as soon as possible. This is not a good sign.
Yeah, you're right. It was the Bears tacklers that immediately
what's
called this on.
He's still running there.
And he's slowed it down in. Now he's just made contact, and it's a couple seconds.
I think on that spin here, when he gets folded underneath, that right leg.
Yeah, just right there as he saw as the tackle's completed. And that's when he starts wincing in pain, the right knee just buckling underneath. And that's where he's getting attention now. But nothing obvious that we can see what we saw in replay. But
great sportsmanship here by the Bears. There's a lot of concern there, and Gabriel Tinoco was there and helping Kieran get through it. Joined by Mitchell Bessie and Darius Holiday Miller.
And it's going to be an absolute shame for Klein. You would imagine, given the situation, he probably would have got a significant chunk of the carries here in the second half.
Especially, him scoring earlier on.
He already has one touchdown to his name. And now he will be assisted off the field by both Carlos Williams and one of his teammates there, and
He's not good.
Van
Bit of a shake of the head there.
Again, some more quality sportsmanship shown here, and he's taken just to the left of our commentary spot.
Head coach Carlos Williams helping the Ravens player off there. Speaking from experience, probably a knee. It's definitely appears to be not his hamstring. He's more grasping at the joint there. So whether he has done those 3 words that start with an A, 3 letters rather.
Fingers crossed it is nothing more than a scare. And so he gets tended to by the medic staff here at Hyde Park.
Prayers out for you, buddy.
You can see the disappointment though. As you mentioned, has fought through multiple leg injuries so far in season 2019. I was hoping that this one is nothing more than a minor one. Chris Bradshaw as well, one of the drivers behind the resurgence of the Logan City program, tapping him up there in a show of support. It's kind of weird, you know, of a situation where the game's well and truly decided, and I know we're only at the start of the second half here, but it does kind of put things in perspective for both teams.
That's going to put a bit of a damper. You see the loss of yardage here as well. I don't know what's come at the end of that.
Yeah, then
it's first and forever.
Jeez, I got no idea what would have gone on after play. We didn't see any of that because we were focused on the injury, but it would have been a holding all the way back at the line of scrimmage. Fawcett's going to make up a lot of that right now. Doesn't get it back to where the original spot was, but well and truly picks up the first down.
Replay to do, you know, make back the yards that Kieran gained there. Again, it's the tackling that's the issue here. You know, Nigel puts the first move on, he's through and converts the sticks. That's the thing that's been so prevalent in all this yardage and the points that have been put on him right now.
Ball sat around the 15. Ravens, their offense haven't had to travel all that far courtesy of their defense tonight. And a wide open Boric Russell, corner of the end zone. Wenban getting there late, but the damage had been done. 3 players and another 6 points for the Bayside Ravens.
There's separation there on the corner out by Warwick Russell. Seen both the corner and the safety, or the corner and the linebacker, number 29. I didn't see who else there, kind of bit on the underneath route with Fawcett. And left Warwick Bones Russell out for the touchdown on the corner.
Two misses tonight. Successful one here will push them to 60. Kick is up and good. And now with the running clock here in the second half, the Ravens look to travel north of 60 on their next offensive possession. And we did not mention earlier, but it was confirmed with us at halftime, a running clock throughout the entirety of this second half. Of course, the 35-point spread needed to activate the running clock was achieved early in the second quarter, and now it's in play. Bessie's right leg certainly had to work out tonight. You can tell it's warm. Another touchback to his name. His radar's back on target as well. And the Bears offense will jump and get the whiteboard out again and see what they can get going this time. Just trying to get back into Ravens territory.
If you've ever played, you do feel for him if you've ever been in this position. Yeah, there's not much else to say. It's more so the execution you can gather for the rest of the game, right? And I guess all you want to do is put points on the board. No one wants to get, you know, kept to 0. So
I saw had multiple of the senior members of the Bears just talking about using this second half to generate momentum for next week. Game's well and truly decided by now, and look, everyone's been on the end of a massive beating. Everyone's for the most part, has had to go through this before. But it is up to you how you choose to handle and react to it. Let's see how the Bears handle the rest of this second half. Hard count by Prosser. And we'll give it to Posey. And Posey tries to go backwards again. A bit more yardage, but the contain is good there. And Neil Thompson on the outside.
Former prize fighter, I believe, as well. I think he dabbles in rugby union, so he does quite a lot. He's quite the athlete, and if you've ever stood across from him, eerily reminiscent of Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones.
He'll take that.
So it's quite scary. I don't think he knows who Khal Drogo is, but you actually see Darius Holiday-Miller here playing linebacker.
Played a lot of safety before, but haven't quite seen him line up inside the box. And an intercept here, getting it downfield untouched, and this defense has been busy tonight. That is the radio man we talked about, David Nash. Returning this one for 6.
Did a bit of a fist bump just because of the character that David Nash is, obviously presenting on Triple M. He's got to be a bit of a character, but yeah, it's just good to see him, and he high points this really well. I think that's what kind of shocked me there, but a great play by David Nash there.
No doubt they'll be on his Twitter for everyone to see, but we'll hold the phone. There is a flag, and I imagine... Well, actually, this possibly could take this play away from him, because it could be a block in the back here, and that might have been before he crossed the plane. And they'll wave it off. David Nash, your touchdown will stand. And that will be the second defensive touchdown for the day. Nash joins Ebden in scoring defensive touchdown tonight.
As well as Chris Clark, and however many he's been involved with.
Yeah. Well, I believe he's recovered 3, but I don't think he's actually scored any.
I might have, well, don't play football as long as I have, you start forgetting things.
Though, one heck of a fantasy stat sheet if you were keeping track. One forced a fumbled, which was recovered by the Ravens, as Russell sends this up and wide right. Score remains 66-0. But 2 fumbles recovered. 1 would have been recovered.
And the advantage Nash had there is, albeit probably a bit dangerous in his zone if he loses eyes on his man, but he was watching the QB, so he got to really look the ball in. He saw it the whole way in.
His first career pick 6, I would imagine.
He's had a handful of picks, but potentially his first pick 6. But again, as you said, if it is, you'll probably be able to jump on his Twitter and confirm that. He's very active on social media. Self-named as the Nashville Predator, as he's an avid fan of the Nashville Predators.
Hockey teams, it
Predator
makes
hockey
sense.
Team. As I said, he's an interesting character. Shout out to Nashy.
And the Bears offense will get another opportunity. Try to make something happen. Kick is high and centered. Philip Carr fields it on the full. Trying to make something here on special teams. Almost a dangerous block there. Below the waist. All is good though, and back we try again.
Most dangerous there is the hesitation. It's hard when you have people screaming down at you, running full tilt. Great effort to get the ball out and where it would have been. You see on the Ravens defense here, they've still got a lot of their starters out, including head coach Darius Holiday-Miller, number 3.
Yeah, you're right, the full defensive line still there, starting front 4. Ebden in there, linebacker still the same corners as well. There's another awkward snap. It needs to be handled by Prosser, and Prosser will just have to eat the turf on this one. Things are only getting harder for the Logan City program tonight.
It's very unfortunate that the snap's going a bit amiss here. Seeing as we were saying before, their big focus was gaining momentum to look at next week, and they understand this game is over, but they're looking to get a small win that they can focus on and build upon. And snaps like that aren't going to help.
Moving backwards and trying to move forward. Speaking of moving forward, look towards next week. We'll get on that after this play. And might have caught them there on that hard count.
Although the receiver did move number 20 to the top of the screen. Aaron Harrison-Watt.
And it is against the offense. And another 5 yards.
However, I'm not sure. Mr. Harrison-Watt was the only person that false started there. I think there were a few
He was just the one that was got caught.
Yeah, that was the one I saw. Sorry, mate.
He was the one paying for the penalty as well. Posey under pressure. Nothing but purple in his face and is saved by the whistle. Fumbled that ball trying to get rid of it, but unfortunately after the whistles had been blown.
Seemed like the whole the Ravens defensive line got in the backfield there.
Recovering that would-be fumble there was a man I haven't mentioned yet, and Corey Chioffi, a former Wildcat. End of the third quarter, I believe we just saw, and both these teams will have to take the walk, or in the Ravens' case, the jog, to the other side of the field as we take that opportunity to look towards next week.
See Captain number 19, Finn Laidlaw for the Bears getting down there first, setting the pace for his team.
Next week, the Ravens, they'll be trying to take this form back into their rematch against the Rhinos at home over at Kitchener Park in Wynnum. That'll be a huge game for them, especially on the back of tonight's big win. And on the Gold Coast at Glendon Park, the Stingrays have a match-up with the Raptors, and the Bears, well, they'll have an opportunity to rebound from this game, but they'll have to travel to Toowoomba to do it, to take on the Vultures. You get one of their few home games this season up at Herb Steinort Oval, up in the range out west.
Yeah, it's a drive you don't want to come back.
You want to try to
come
win
back with a win, right?
That being said, you know the way the cards fell this year, the Vultures didn't get a whole lot of home games, so they certainly want to take advantage of this
100%.
themselves. Prosser trying to get that ball out quickly, does so to the right-hand side, completed pass for maybe 4 or 5 yards.
Great tackle and great sportsmanship by Chris Clark.
Bull on his first catch of the evening.
Yeah.
Was extremely fiery at moments in the first half. Gets on board and picks up his first catch here in the second.
Well, he's going to help his nerves a bit. I think he's been wanting to get involved. It's 3rd and forever here as well.
Trying to move it through the air again. Prosser pulls it in though and just tries to leg it. Won't be able to outpace Bradley Ebden though, and this Ravens defense is not done eating. Ebden desperately pouring at that ball, trying to get it out of the hands of Shane Prosser.
Good effort by Shane Prosser to try and keep the play alive there. And managed to stay on his feet with having 5 or 6 Ravens defenders on him. He's a big boy though, so I'm also not surprised to see that.
And we're going to get a stoppage here.
Call for a medic.
For a medic. I'm not sure for whom.
Prosser, perhaps? No, I can't see.
Yeah, there's a player back behind us. One of the linemen is Dylan Harrison, who's grabbing at his head there. It might be a head assessment upcoming for him. He certainly looks like he is in plenty of discomfort. And that is, look, I'm no doctor, but it looks like he might have took a knock.
Probably one of the biggest risks, I guess, in this game. You hate to see it. It's not good.
And safe to say he will be taken to the field there and assessed, but you can see he's having trouble keeping his eyes open there. And you can see the clear frustration with the injury and probably the results tonight and the competitor that Dylan Harrison is. He makes his way to the sideline. But I think we'll
go for a punt.
He's certainly struggling to get it off there. Harrison and Ravens now will be ready to receive this punt here from right up. Bradshaw in a personal protector. Snap is good off the left boot. It goes, finds the sideline. And will be marked officially out of bounds. As you can still see Harrison getting a bit of support from the family now. He's still slowly, gingerly making his way back to the tent.
I feel for him. I've been there a couple of times myself, so it's definitely not what you want to happen to you, especially you have no choice in the matter, they get pulled out.
Now I believe that is a Wooten now in the backfield.
I believe that's Jeffrey Finodi.
Oh, Finodi, no, the 15, not 35. And with his first touch of the game, will spring forward and add to the rushing touchdown scorers this evening.
I believe that may actually be his first score. No, this is his rookie year. Come into the Ravens about week 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was
inside run from the pistol. Shedding tacklers.
Did have to get the job done there, and wearing Lockie Tate's jersey number. And if I understand correctly, Lockie Tate's had to give up the game for at least this year.
Yeah, I don't think he'd mind me saying. He experienced something Dylan Harrison has just gone through and had a bit of a scary, nasty head hit. So he's doing the best thing for his health and letting Jeffrey wear his number with pride. I'm sure Lockie will be happy to see his number still scoring points.
Jeffrey Finodi has his first, allegedly his first touchdown converted. It's been a couple of weeks since you're on the roster there, mate. But
this is true.
Yeah, no, take this moment as well to shout out to Lockie Tate. It is unfortunate, but making the smart move in light of all the information we're given amongst in this sport regarding head injuries nowadays. And I know that would have killed him to give it up, as it would any player have to give up the sport prematurely. But on the bright side, still wearing that jersey with pride. Finodi, and I was speaking to Holiday Miller quite a few weeks ago when he was scheduled to make his debut. Didn't make it the actual game against the Stingrays. He said he's got plenty. He's raw, but he's got plenty of athletic ability and will certainly contribute to this offense moving forward. And there he does with a 6-pointer. Now possibly a chance. Nope, scratch that. Thought there might have been an opportunity down the short side of the field for Tinoco, but the rest of the stop troops get in there, and we've got another player down. It is Tinoco. He went down in the first half with an ankle injury. This time he's clutching somewhere in the upper body.
It was a tricky one too. As he went to return, he had a bit of a collision there with number 24 Malachi Arthur. It's not a good sign.
Well, they're quickly removing the helmet now. Got him on his side.
He's in the full-blown recovery position now. I don't think he's taken a head knock or anything. As you stated before, there is a flag on that play as well.
Well, he's gotten up now to his own feet and saw the shake of the head there as he was sort of just shaking himself back to. Just now he's comfortably running off the field. And Tinoco, probably not having the night he'd hoped to build on.
Yeah, maybe he had a bit of a head knock there, and it's good to see him run off it. It wasn't as bad as Dylan Harrison's, but hopefully he plays it safe and reserves himself for the next game. Coach is Whitehair here speaking with Damien Gridiron.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're having a conversation now about
contact levels and things of that matter, which has been in my playing time has been brought in, and I guess it's a sportsman thing to do. Obviously,
well, I think it also might have been about the penalty flag that was thrown. It was a personal foul against the Ravens. So
couldn't grab the number on that either.
Free 15 yards here for the Bears offense. A much needed pick me up. Cross up, hands the ball off to Posey, and Posey just finds a wall of Ravens defenders, and we see another flag come flying in from the right sideline.
This might be on purple. Now, I do wonder if there was a bit of a pull by Adniel Thompson there towards the end.
Yep, the call.
Would have tipped the face mask there, which was the case.
So there we go, 30 yards on the last two plays.
Adniel Thompson,
penalties.
Bit of a shrug.
In disbelief that he possibly could have
No, never, not me.
grasped a face mask.
It's a good little break for the Bears, though.
Trying to capitalise on 30 yards of penalties. In the spread, another handoff to Posey, but again, Posey, the Ravens aren't giving him anything and making up for his mistake there. Neil Thompson coming in for his tackle behind the line.
And the support, Bronson Ione coming in there, and that's a big couple of boys there getting through.
I do apologise there. I might have been referring to Bronson only as far gutter for much of the first half.
I believe. Oh, actually.
Yeah, and if you're confusing them, I would give myself a pass.
Yeah, okay.
Off coverage eventually shown by the Ravens, and that might have forced Prosser to hold over that extra half second that the front needed to take him down. It's Calvé Chan coming up with his second sack.
It was hard. Prosser didn't even get to move in the pocket. He got his snap, kind of stood there, looked off, and was hit before he could even start his throwing motion.
And our chats with Prosser at the half, he did say it's a bit of a wake-up call for a lot of these guys who haven't had a team really, turn the screws on them. The Ravens aren't relenting in the slightest. They're still forcing the Bears to work for every inch of yardage here into the fourth quarter of a running clock.
I know, but losses, they got the Rhinos next week, so I think they're trying to maintain this energy.
Short pass out, completed to a Bull. Bull almost breaks the tackle. It's Chand making the stop along with Holiday and Miller.
I believe you have to quite understand it from a competing point of view. They have the Rhinos who are sitting at the top of the table next week. So for them to pull, the foot off the throat at the moment, it could be an ebb and flow effect, and next week they come in underprepared because they've taken this game lightly. And
yeah, it's completely sound logic, and let's not forget the Rhinos did outlast them all the way back in round 4 in that big shootout game where the Rhinos found themselves as the last score in that 47-40 shootout. Just trying to get a few scores around the grounds. No updates as of yet, but I can confirm the Rhinos coaching staff did get here at kickoff. So they're well and truly scanning out next week's opponent. Ravens showing blitz and sending a lot of pressure on this punt, and this time Laidlaw gets the ball out to the right-hand sideline. Right, I apologise.
And Carlos Senapati there was giving himself props because I think he went for a catch on the sideline.
And went on record, bit of a side information here, went on record recently on social media as possibly the only Samoan to not love KFC.
Oh, yeah.
His words, not mine.
Yeah, look. Breaking news here, folks.
Says for him to have at least considered it, has to be fridged overnight before he'll touch it.
We'll grab him a bucket and give it to him tomorrow.
Ball on the 41. Stegman will remain at quarterback. No testing any backups tonight. And this will be handed off on the jet sweep, and a bit of life shown there by the Bears. Taking him down as a mystery man in at 29. He did have two 28s listed though, so go back and possibly see mystery player. I do apologise, mate. I would love to give you credit for that.
Tackle there on number 35, James Wooten, aka known as Soup.
Explain that, mate, for those who weren't in Birdtown camp.
It's not even that inventive. So his name was Wooten. I believe it was a play on wonton and wonton soup. There's
the genius that is football players, right?
Yeah. I wasn't involved. Full disclaimer.
Under pressure again is Stegman, but he navigates the pocket, sends someone downfield, and as Nigel Fawcett, having one to beat now, almost holding hands with his would-be blocker, which is Warwick Russell, and into the end zone he goes with plenty of celebration behind it, and the Ravens continue to add on to this scoreline.
The boy out of Columbus, Ohio is going to love that. You always want to see Holden Bones' hand there. Oh, there is I think it is coming back.
Well, let's wipe that touchdown off the board. And I was about to say, hitting the 80 mark, to my knowledge, hasn't been done by a Ravens program before. That would be the highest score from a Ravens team. A couple times they've hit the 70 mark. Just a couple times under.
And then everything I said about Nigel loving that, I bet you he's going, oh well. Hands on the hips, head down, and going, So a couple penalties here by the Ravens. I don't know if it's
an update on time. 2-minute warning officially given. 2 minutes from this game being wrapped up, and 2 minutes for the Bears to just try to give themselves something to buoy themselves on for this week of practice. Fawcett, the non-touchdown scorer. It's an ugly snap, or shall I say an ugly handle, and that might be the play they were looking for. And of course, who produces it? Their defensive leader, Stephen Dunn.
That's their anchor there on the defense here, and he's capitalized perfectly with the bad snap, gone right through. Only had eyes for the ball, and there he's given Shane Prosser and their offense great position here. Well done.
You know, I actually don't want to say, I'm not sure who the centre was on that particular play. I think it was actually a good snap there. I don't want to assume it was a bad snap. I think even the great one, and Jared Stegman, might have just not been able to get a handle on that. But Stephen Dunn, look, I've played with him all the way back in 2009. Not a man, he's a man of few words, but he certainly leads by example, and he continues to do that almost 10 years later. Getting the ball back for his offense to hopefully have the final drive of tonight's game. I'd love just to break that deadlock, because we certainly know the Ravens are taking pride in keeping that 0 on the scoreboard.
They're going to have to work for it.
Prosser, low snap, but he collects it. Throwing it down, it's a nice ball, and it's caught by Soon! Stephen Soon underneath it, inside the 5.
This will help them too. See here Shane Prosser dropping back and hitting Stephen Soon here on a post route.
That's their longest completion today, and it comes right at the tail end of the game. And a bit of a generous spot I gave them outside the 5. They're probably sitting about 6 yards away.
Some of the Ravens there were just playing over the top, trying to prevent anything from happening. But in doing that, there's no one playing underneath.
Ravens blitzing, and they hand it off to Posey, and this will be a measure of revenge for Posey, who's been bottled up tonight, but that theme continues. Gridiron takes him down, as well as Daniel O'Day, who scored a touchdown tonight.
Great flow there by the Ravens defense. There are whistles on the field.
A pick tonight, I should say, not the touchdown. Touchdown scorers being Ebden and
I think the Ravens just called a timeout.
Nash to finish that thought. And quite frankly, this might be a situation the Bears probably appreciate the timeout. They're an opportunity to try and get points on the board. And make no mistake, them getting on the scoreboard right now, and we're getting confirmation now that it is a Bears timeout, not a Ravens timeout. Make no mistake, for the Bears, it would be huge if they can get on the scoreboard here. Most people would have taken the odds for them being shut out tonight, and if they can get on right at the end here, that might just be that little bit of hope they were looking for to focus their next week around.
Shane Prosser here, commanding the troops. Should Posey with him in the backfield.
And, well, they can't do that because they've already called the timeout. That's actually I'm not going to pretend like I know this for certain, because it could be very much different in the IFAF rules, but they've called 2 consecutive timeouts. And I know at least by the NFL rule books, that's actually a penalty.
100%.
And knowing that we were confirmed that it was a Bears timeout, and I think this is what's probably being argued, if you want to call it argued, but maybe at least discussed by Holiday Miller here. Certainly not animatedly, he's not exactly stressed about it, but... Can I do it? You can go to timeouts? So I can go to timeouts. I'm going to do that next time. The Bears with 1 timeout remaining.
I think they could also be made a meme, the pointing at like...
Pass now. This time likes what he sees. We'll try to pass for the touchdown. Climbs the pocket nicely, but we'll find nothing but a Raven. Turning around now is Broodreich. He was going to try and go the field. He pitches it out before he got hit. And I tried to pitch it to a teammate, and the intention was there, but I'm just having shades of him just throwing that ball away.
Shout out to Tuaki there, trying to make the dive tackle here. I don't know if he just pitches it over the back,
looking, take this the right way, but he looks like that kid playing football, so I'm just trying to throw the ball away to avoid that.
So I think Peter Brewer would also say is the Ravens defense are a pick and pitch defense. They're always looking to get it to the second man.
That is one of the funniest plays. Just throws it over the shoulder.
I think even the officials got a bit of a smile.
It's a block in the back to the team, and I think
that's the game.
That is the game. The game will end on an intercept and a fumble for David Brubrick, Damien Brubrick, one of the up-and-coming leaders for this Ravens offense. So the night is over for the Bears, who tried to generate something towards the back end there, but simply put, we can't deny it was a very dominant performance by Bird Down this evening here at Hyde Park.
100%. From start to finish, they executed quite well. Towards the end, there were a few penalties, stopped them from getting the 80 points. But like 74-0. At the end of the day, it's a great win. I think the Bears need to keep their heads up. Obviously, it's still early days in this program, establishing the men's program back up and sticking together and building that core of players that can take you to the next level. 5
rushing touchdowns to Holiday Miller tonight, 4 in the first half. Nash also got to the board defensively, as did Ebden, and through the air, very few passing touchdowns. Fortunately, just the one out to Warwick Russell, as the ground game handled most of the things. Adding their first touchdowns, I believe, was some of the younger backs in Fanotti and Klein. And Klein did exit the game later on with an injury, so fingers crossed for him and all the potential injuries tonight. Also, Dylan Harrison coming off with what we guessed might have been a head injury. So that wraps things up here. A dominant display by the Bayside Ravens, sending a message to the Rhinos that they are prepared for the rematch next week between the Brisbane Rhinos and the Bayside Ravens. The Bears, they will be travelling to Toowoomba to take on the Vultures up at Alan Steiner Field. This has been Kenny Andreas for the last 2 games in the play-by-play. Joined to me very much so with Leanne Reeves. Thanks for your company this evening.
You are most welcome.
And Paul Mills on the camera and the switching tonight. Thank you for your company, whether it was for this game or the last. We appreciate